I'm John Bolenbaugh. I'm a whistleblower for the largest oil spill in United States history. And I saw such devastation in my community. I went from an oil worker to environmental investigative reporter. And no matter what happens to me, I've had so many death threats, I don't even know why I'm still alive. But I am not quitting until you kill me, because it's that important. This is way bigger than me. This is a movement that is going to change history, and it's going to save billions of lives.
Hi, I'm Melanie St. James. I'm here listening to many stories today at Standing Rock Nation. First day, and through orientation, through sitting in a talking circle, through meeting people in the kitchen, I have been blown away by the emotion, the courage, the stories, so many. And last night I had the opportunity to see probably the most courageous whistleblower in the United States that's raising awareness about the cost of oil on people, communities, the environment, environmental justice. And it's my pleasure to represent Empowerment Works and the pulse of the movement and introduce John Bolenbaugh. John, I'd like to hear from you what brought you here, what you've been doing that's impacting the cause at Standing Rock right now, and why is this different?
There's nothing like this ever. I've been praying for something like Standing Rock for years, and had a vision when I saw the cover-up in my hometown. We had a 1 million gallon spill into our river, killed 40 miles of fish. And I just thought it was an oil spill, and that's what it does. It kills thousands of animals. But then they were on the news saying that these animals didn't die and the fish weren't that bad. And the lies were eating at me, and I couldn't sleep at night. And then I started seeing them cover up oil. They were putting dirt over it and rocks over it, and sickened me. And I wasn't going to allow this to happen in my hometown. And so I told on them, and they fired me the next day. So I don't like to be called a liar, and as a result, it cost them about $600 million in re-cleanup. It's been devastating to my family. My daughter was born with a deformity. My kidneys messed up. My uncle died. My dog died. My cat's almost dead right now. It's got a tumor in its face. My stepdad had cancer cut out of his face. You know, when my uncle died, it was traumatic for me. You know, I'm trying to get justice for my family. But it's not just my family. We're talking about hundreds of families, and we don't even know how bad it is, because we have 7 kids with leukemia in our local school system in one small town, Marshall, Michigan, and we don't know how bad it is. I mean, those are just the ones I know about. And it could be 20 kids, you know, 10 years from now. So I'm trying to do something about this. I'm trying to travel around the country and document oil spills and sick residents. And been doing this 6 years. I've gathered over about 3,500 gigabytes of footage. And this is my life. This is my mission. This is what God wants me to do. And I heard about Standing Rock because people started calling me saying, John, they need you. You have to expose what happened with you to them. You got to give them this information so they know what they're fighting for. We all know we don't want the pipeline to go through. We all know we want clean water, but to see why, to see the tumors and the sick residents, it just validates why you're here. And so, you know, I got here, I stayed for 4 days, I went back home, and I told the wife I got to go back. And so this is my second time back from Michigan in the last 6 weeks. Me and my wife got married, and 2 days later we're here spending our honeymoon. And it's life-changing, and it's helped my family. You know, I've almost lost my wife a few times because this is all I do. I fight oil companies. I'm pretty good at fighting oil companies and exposing them and costing them, we believe, over $1 billion so far. And so my wife told me, she said, honey, I'm going back with the kids. This is too important. You need to stay at Standing Rock. And that was a blessing in my life, because to get validation from her that she now sees why we're fighting, what we're fighting for, it really helps my family. I haven't ever accepted donations in 6 years. I've ripped up checks. I had a $10,000 check once I ripped up. I've had HBO at my house offering me money, and I turned it down. If I would have kept my mouth shut and not reported the cover-up for 2 years, I would have actually got 10% of the re-cleanup, which is about $60 million that would have been in my pocket. But then I would have had hundreds of kids that would have got cancer that shouldn't have, because of the oil that I had got re-cleaned up afterwards. And people say, how can you prove it, John? Well, they signed off on the areas, EPA 3 signatures by supervisors, then you have 3 signatures by the oil company, Enbridge, and then you have DEQ. So 7 signatures on every area said that it was 100% clean. They landscaped it, restored it, planted grass, and you don't dig that back up unless it's contaminated. And so, you know, that's my validation. They redug up the whole river and redredged everything. I don't know what I'm doing day to day. I just follow what I think God wants me to do, and I spent about 14 grand just in the last 6 weeks just buying blankets. You know, I have 10 sleeping bags in my vehicle I just bought that I'm giving out. Heaters, just whatever I can to help Standing Rock. But most importantly, I'm showing my video every night, and it's packed. You know, I've showed over 1,000 people. My video, it holds about 100 people in the dome that we have here. And I'm going to stay as long as it's full. I'm going to stay here, and as long as it takes to expose what these people are fighting for, to let them know, you know, when you're on the front line and they're throwing these percussion grenades at you, and they're shooting you with rubber bullets, and they're squirting water at you in 20-degree weather and macing you for no reason. When they're doing all this unlawfully, just to protect oil companies that the Army Corps of Engineers has already told them to stop. They're not supposed to drill, but they're still doing it, but they just pay fines. Our police department should turn their heads, and they should start arresting the DAPL workers because they're violating the law. But instead they want to injure 170 people the other night for no reason, that are on the opposite side of barbed wire, that are no threat to anybody. These are nonviolent people with no weapons, and I am pissed off. I'm a Navy veteran, Bronze Star, and you don't do this to the people in my country. I fought for my country, you know, and just because I'm not getting a paycheck doesn't mean I don't fight for my country now. You know, I'm protecting the people in my country, and now I have a 1 and a 2-year-old. My little girls are the best thing that ever happened to me, but if they can't go swimming someday, or if they always have to drink bottled water, that's not going to happen in the world I live in, because I'm going to do something about it.
And can you share a little bit more? So this is a very unique case in Standing Rock, and unprecedented that all of these tribes have gathered here in solidarity. But how big is this issue of the risk? How many oil spills are reported? About
30% of the oil spills are actually reported, because most of them are just said that they're maintenance. They actually profit when there's oil spills. They want oil spills. If they shut a pipeline down to fix it, let's say Michigan, for 5 years they knew there was a crack in it. If they shut it down to fix it, then they lose $8 million a day. So what they do is they just squeeze out that revenue for the next 5 years until it does spill, and then that insurance company hires them to clean up their own mess. The insurance company pays for lost revenue. They pay to fix the pipe. The oil company owns the cleanup materials. They own the cleanup companies, and they actually will buy the land in the local areas at real cheap because no one wants to live there anymore, and then they actually will sell it for more than what it's worth. But during that time they're cleaning up a spill or building a pipeline or whatever they're doing, they actually put their workers in those homes, and now the workers pay rent instead of the hotels being paid for by the oil company. So now there's another course of revenue. Plus they raise the gas prices. So they profit 3 or 4 times more by having an oil spill than what they do if they fix the pipe. So, and this is what really pisses me off. This is for foreign oil. 95% of all pipelines that are being built right now are for foreign. We export more oil every single year than we actually use in the United States. We don't need these new pipelines. And I'm a union worker, but we don't need those type of jobs. And the other thing is, the workers would have so much work. We'd actually have to hire more workers if we just fix the pipes that are already cracked and 60-year-old pipes. That's what makes me mad. We're helping foreign countries pretty much devastate our environment. The XL pipeline, there is no logical reason to go under the largest aquifer in the United States. They already have an easement. I worked on the Keystone one myself. But by going under that aquifer, now they can suck water out of that because they own the easement. And fresh water is very vital for many countries, for the United States. And the other thing is, what if we go to war someday and they actually blow up that pipeline, and then they blow up the one going through the Great Lakes? And I talked about this on C-SPAN 5 years ago. It's a national security threat because they could blow up 5 pipelines and the United States is crippled because we really wouldn't have any fresh water. It would be all contaminated in one day.
So how at risk is the watershed here from this pipeline that's being proposed?
The pipelines, no matter how great they are or how brand new they are, they always leak. There is no pipeline that does not leak. 5 gallons here, 10 gallons here, 20 gallons here. This lake gets 100 gallons a day. They all leak. They use cheap steel. Most of it comes from China. And then it's sent to Canada. They put a coating on it. And then what they do is they put a stamp that says Canadian. So it looks like it's a Canadian pipe, but it's actually foreign China pipe, and it's bad steel. I've had Enbridge workers, supervisors saying, yeah, we can't weld it properly. It's just bad steel. But it's cheap steel. And so when they do that, there's little pinholes in it, and it might only be the size of the head of a pin, but it could be 5 gallons a day that leaks out, and no one will ever know, because if you don't have at least 1.5% loss in pressure in most of these pipelines, you'll never have any alarms go off. So hypothetically, you have a 500,000 gallon a day pipeline. You can, without anybody knowing about it, and I say legally because no one will ever know, you can have thousands of gallons every single day leak out. It depends on the pump station, but if it's less than 1.5%, no one's going to know. It could pollute your watershed, Missouri River, your wells, the streams, the creeks. The animals are going to be eating that. And that's why I reported the cover-up when I did, because I knew those deers were going to be drinking that water. I knew that they were going to be laying in the grass and eating the grass. And I knew they were going to be in Michigan. We are big deer hunters, and they were going to be eating that deer. And the kids were going to get cancer from it. I knew this. I knew it immediately. And the movie Aaron Brockovich really helped me guide myself through this, because, I mean, I went to 1,400 homes and just not even knowing about the sick people, and 200 sick people showed up. And I had no idea. I had a 1-hour battery. I had a little crappy camera. And I never knew that this would be a part of history, that people were going to die. I would interview people, and two months later, they'd be dead. And, you know, my uncle had me videotape his last will and testament. And, you know, he got a blood disorder after the spill. 16 people in his trailer park passed away. And it's these oil companies, they evacuated them 10 days after the spill. For 10 days they didn't evacuate these people. And it's not really the oil that poisons you, it's the thinners that thin out this oil. It's benzene and hydrogen sulfide and dectane and methane and benzene, and it causes havoc on your body, causes liver damage and kidney damage and cancer and leukemia and eyesight and hearing loss. On and on. It's havoc for your body. And I hope I'm making a difference in this world. And I hope my videos are seen by every single person on this planet, because just maybe it might change the course of history.
Speaking of the change in history, what's at stake with this fight right now? How important is this? How many people have been affected by the oil spills that you're aware of? Can you give a number on that?
Oh, I've been to 4 oil spills and documented it, and we're talking about thousands of people. We had 30,000 people that breathed in the chemicals that we believe went that distance and poisoned them. But you don't know for 10, 15, 20 years, because it sits in your body and it poisons you. I get headaches and migraines. Police officers I've interviewed that's in my videos, they get headaches and migraines. The chemicals sit in your fat cells and they cause brain tumors. There's a tribe in Canada next to a tar sand refinery, and 10% of the entire tribe has brain tumors. And so, that could be our community. We have tumors in our fish now. They say it's clean. They have signs on the local parks, billboards that say, "Eat safe fish from the Kalamazoo River. Fish are part of a healthy diet." And they have tumors in them, and they're full of oil. And I can prove it, 100% prove it. I have so much documentation. I just got to get this documentary made. And so that's another reason why I'm here at Standing Rock. I'm trying to network. I'm trying to find editors. I'm a nobody. I don't know what I'm doing. I just documented something that was historic, I guess. It just was a daily thing for me. For 6 years I've been doing this. I didn't know we were going to be making documentaries about it. I just thought I was putting it on YouTube and telling the world what's going on. But they're putting pipelines in all over the country. And now I have people from Canada and Alabama and all over the place that contact me saying, "John, your videos can help us in our state." It's not just one state. It's not one pipeline. We're talking about dozens of situations where what I done possibly could help save lives. So I actually bought most of the website domains, which would be like ExxonLies.com, EnbridgeLies.com, BPLies.com. I bought several of these, hundreds of them. And the reason why is if there's an oil spill in the future, all I got to do is take 300 yard signs, send them to the local community. They get them out there quick if I don't have the opportunity to get there to give speeches and stuff. And then they can watch my videos. They'll see, what's going to happen. Evacuate. Don't listen to them. You're breathing in poison. And I feel horrible. I was in Mayflower, Arkansas. I didn't get there for 6 weeks. I didn't have the money to go. And I told the wife, I got to do this. And I waited for my next 2 paychecks, and I went to Arkansas, and it was too late. The kids already had COPD. The kids were already breathing in these chemicals for 6 weeks, and I feel horrible. But I can't, it's my fault. If I could have got there sooner, I could have told them, what to do and how to do it. And so
what about the EPA? What are the other protection agencies that are supposed to be notifying people?
The EPA is a part of this. They travel around with the oil companies. They go to the bars with them. Their food's paid for. Just on our oil spill, their food was catered in. Great food to the EPA. That's against the law. It's not supposed to happen. They would have lunch together. I had lunch with the EPA. You're not allowed to do that. When I worked with them. And it's testified under oath that happened. My brother is an environmental inspector, and he specifically said that he believes that because he saw the cover-up, and he said, "I believe the EPA was bought off," and it's because the EPA signed off on the areas, and they're not allowed to talk to me. Have you ever heard of a whistleblower reporting the biggest environmental cover-up in United States history, and the EPA says, "Sorry, John, we can't talk to you because we have a gag order"? And the reason why is because they signed off on all the areas. If they admit that I told the truth and that there was a cover-up, they're cutting their own throat and admitting that they committed felonies. These 3 supervisors for every single site committed felonies. And they don't want to go to prison, so they just say John Bolenbaugh's a liar.
So what can people do now? Everyone everyone watching?
Well, you have to donate to everybody out here. We have to weatherize. These people have to stay warm for the winter. These people are on the front lines. They're freezing. They're cold. We need sleeping bags. We need Mr. Heaters. We need hand warmers. Do not come out here if you have a tent. But we want you out here. You have to come out here, but you need to buy wood. You need to build a shelter. And if you want to stay for the winter, you've got to be prepared. We're going to have 6 foot of snow out here, and I don't want anybody injured or to die or get hypothermia. But we need bodies. We need as many people here as possible. I need help. I need you to donate to Dapple Lies, DAPLLIES.com, and push the donate button. Give me $5. But I just got to get enough money to get a secretary to help me. I need a couple editors. I need funding. You know, it's going to at least be $100,000. I still have 300 sick people I haven't been able to interview yet. I just paid $2,000 to my attorney to get all the information from the people that filed complaints against the oil company. And I'm so busy I don't have time to go through them yet, but I need to interview these people. And who knows how bad this is. I'm just one man doing this.
So when your documentary gets out and just through all this information, what else can people do at home as far as like changing the law, changing the policies, raising awareness?
Share, 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 share. You got to share. Social media. CNN the other day said that they were not squirting the water protectors. I call them protesters until I learn that they're water protectors, just like me. It's stupid. Why would we call them protesters? And I've did that so many times. They're not protesting. They're just being good citizens to protect our children. And so CNN said that they weren't doing this. And then they said the girl that had her arm blown off by the police department, they said that she actually had a propane bomb. 100% lie. Never happened. Morton County Sheriff and the police officers injured 170 people that did not have weapons. They should all be in prison. And if you don't put them in prison, I'm going to do everything I can to do it.
Hi everyone, so Melanie St. James here again, and this is such an amazing night. So I met Jenny today in a talking circle, and I was totally blown away by her story about being on the front lines on Sunday night. And I'm just back at the casino outside of Standing Rock, and was actually coming to take care of some video uploading so that we can get the footage out to you. And I ran into Jenny again and said, you know what, we really wanted to get your experience of what's going on and how you're seeing things, and I just learned some really cool stuff about you. And so Jenny, just if you want to just share a little bit about where you're from, what you see is going on, and and then about John too, because that was kind of amazing what happened the other night.
So I'm from Rosebud, Sioux tribe. I'm Sioux Chongu. I came here, I just felt a really strong calling here. Like, Tukashla sent me here. And ever since I've been here, it's been like deja vu, you know? Like they say when you experience deja vu, like your spirit comes here and then it goes back. So it was like meant to happen. And so I came here to protect my brothers because I was really scared about everything that was going on. You know, they were shooting rubber bullets, sound cannons, they started a fire, everything. And so that's why I came here, to protect my brothers, Derek and Marcello. And then I gained some other brothers while I was here. And I just like experienced like the mercilessness of the Morton County Police Department. And I mean, I've also experienced a lot of the compassion too. Like, you know, when some of the officers have walked away from the front lines. And
can you tell us about that? What you saw?
Well, I didn't experience it directly, but my friend Jackson, he is on the front lines, and he got shot up like multiple times, and he was like, I love you, and like, we're here protecting your children too. And he got shot up, and he stayed there, and he continued to say, like, I love you. And like 2 officers walked away. I talked to a doctor from the medic tent, and one of the guys who got shot with a rubber bullet, his arm got broke and his bone was like sticking out. And in Bismarck, they didn't do anything. My friend Parker got sent to Bismarck, and they said we don't support your cause, but we'll treat you anyway. Well, actually, they didn't treat a lot of people. They sent a lot of people out with hypothermia. And Parker, he had hypothermia, and he was also maced with 2 cans of bear mace. And anyway, so this guy they sent out, his bone was broke. They didn't do anything. They sent him out like that. They didn't even set it. And they gave him was Tylenol with codeine. And the doctor I spoke to, she said she would have at least give him narcotics. Like, she had gotten into a similar injury when she got into a car accident, and they gave her like narcotics, and she was still in a lot of pain. So this guy, he got his arm broke and his bone is sticking out, but he went back to the front lines, and he said, look at what happened, look at what your rubber bullets did. And they said, and I mean, he showed them, and like, he said already, like, three officers walked away when they saw that. So
they gave their guns back.
They set their guns down, they walked away.
So how do you feel about that?
I feel like, everyone isn't like inherently evil, but also they don't know what they're doing, and the front lines are just a really high spiritual place. Like, we went to ceremony, and they said the spirits were there. There was rattling eagle, rattling something, gray eagle, and another spirit, and like, they were causing all of this to a lot of us got, a lot of people, not me. I mean, I just got tear gas. I left after that because it was just too much for me. But my brothers, they got shot. My brother Raven got shot in the back. They got maced. They got shot with a rubber bullet. They got sprayed with water in like freezing temperatures. A lot of people got hypothermia. And so when we went to ceremony, it said like all the spirits were there. Like, they were causing all of this to happen, and a lot of people got injured, but it also showed what they're doing, what the police department are doing, like how they're approaching our peaceful protests. I mean, we have never been armed. We've never had weapons. I even said, we have no weapons. I was on the front lines, and they said, move back, and when we didn't, they threw the concussion grenades and the tear gas and everything. And so anyway, it showed the nation what they're doing. Like, what we're doing, they have nothing against us. We've never used weapons. We've never, I mean, it's pretty, I don't see how it could be not one-sided.
And what is that side? Why are your brothers fighting? Why are your communities protesting or defending?
For the water, I mean, like John said, this is going to go through the Missouri River. That's going to affect like the whole middle of the United States. I mean, if this goes through, we're all going to die of cancer. I mean, he's shown footage, on his Average Lies, Apple Eyes. I don't see how no one, if you're really for, Morton County and the oil companies and everything, And I mean, that's where your heart really is. I don't see how you couldn't look into our side, you know, how you couldn't see from our perspective, from our point of view. I mean, that's what I encourage a lot of people that I see on different threads on Facebook and everything. Go to dappleize.com, you know, it's right there. I'll be happy to hear any of your rebuttals, you know. I'll be happy to talk to you. I mean, it's a human being thing. It's not just like a liberal thing or a native thing or whatever. Like, it's everyone. A lot of the people there are not native, but they're fighting for their children, and I mean, just as well as ours. They're not just fighting for us, they're fighting for all of us. I mean, it's our whole human race.